Hey everyone, so as 2023 is winding down, it's time to take a look back at all the movies that released. From February all the way till now was when I was interested in the upcoming slate. There were a lot of movies that I saw. A lot of good movies, a lot of bad movies, and a lot of films that were just meh. So I'm going to be doing that today. Today I'm going to be talking about all the films that came out, talking about what I liked, what I disliked, just doing a whole video talking about the films I've seen. Alright, so Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was the first film released in Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and was meant to really be the driving force to Phase 5 and the Multiverse Saga and Kang the Conqueror. That's what this film was meant to be. I myself found it enjoyable. It definitely has problems, but I found it to be an enjoyable time at the movie theater. However, I don't think it is a great movie. I think there are issues with it. I think one of the issues is just that it is an Ant-Man movie, and that they're trying to make the plot be more about the upcoming threat than just having it be an Ant-Man film. The whole film is positioned as a Kang the Conqueror set piece. The piece where they're basically advertising, this is going to be your guys' next Thanos. And that would be fine, except the way the film is written, the way things work out, the tone of the film just doesn't help the situation. With Kang the Conqueror being defeated by a bunch of ants and MODOK with his really bad CGI face running into his portal shield. And we're supposed to think of him as a threat after he was literally beaten by Ant-Man? That doesn't make logical sense, and I know there's tons of variants, but I thought this was meant to be the one we care about. I thought this variant was the variant that had something to say. And even if, you have the thing of variants, that just means that the fight is basically endless until whenever the filmmakers decide to stop, because you can just have Kangs keep coming back and back. So I honestly don't think that this film was really great. I don't think it's what Marvel needed for Phase 5, but I did enjoy myself. I really did. On February 24th of 2023, I went ahead and saw the brand new movie, Jesus Revolution. And Jesus Revolution, I'm gonna get a little bit religious here, but it did something. The film was definitely something that made an impact. Kind of like Sound of Freedom would later on in the year, this film actually made a lasting impact, at least for a little bit. There was this kind of just awakening, feeling the presence of God and stuff like that going on in the culture. I don't know how, but this film did touch people. It touched me as an audience member, which I have to say is, really a good quality for the film to have. It really does show that this film was connecting with people. I really like that it wasn't just another film even being preachy. It was trying to tell the story, and the story connected. And I really like that about this film. I haven't seen it since, but it's definitely on my rewatch list. And yeah, no, it was a really good movie. It connected. Alright, so for the month of March, there was only one film that I went ahead and saw, and it was one of the worst superhero movies I have ever seen. It was so bad that I walked out of it, and that film was Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I'm going to say this had the worst comedy out of any superhero film that I have seen. The most inappropriate, crass jokes that I didn't feel in the first film. The first Shazam, I'm actually a big fan of. I enjoyed it. I think it's a really fun superhero film, a bit more family-friendly than usual. This one was not. I don't know what happened in the production, but it felt like they were trying to make a really funny movie, and it just fell apart. Shazam! Fury of the Gods is a film that I will never go back and watch again. It is definitely not on my highlights list for this year. Alright, so another film that I went ahead and saw in the month of March was His Only Son. And I actually saw this film a couple weeks ago on the Angel Studio streaming service, so I didn't see it when it came out. However, I'm going to be honest and as nice as I can be. I don't think this is a bad story. I don't think there were bad intentions here. I do genuinely think the studio wanted to tell the story of Abraham and his trial that he was given by God. I do think Angel Studios wanted to tell and honor that story. But to me, this film just kind of felt stale. It really felt like things weren't moving the way they should have been. Like, for example, before they actually get onto the walk, everything just kind of feels rushed through. It really feels rushed through. It just kind of feels like those are the plot points to get us onto the pathway of, you know, Abraham and his trials with God and whatever. Like, it felt like that they were trying to get to that more quickly because that's the important part of the story. But I also think, you know, before going down the path, going down the road, I think everything before that could have been expanded. You could have had more emotional scenes. I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. It's just one that I couldn't sit through because I got bored. So, they could have picked up the pace a bit, but that's my honest opinion. I think everyone had the best intentions. I just think that it could have maybe rethought how they were converting this Bible story to a film. To start off with, Halle Bailey does a great job in the role. And I think this is one of Disney's better live-action remakes. Now, I have liked pretty much every single one that they have done, with some exceptions. But I did genuinely enjoy this film. It was maybe a bit long, but you know what? The extra runtime is used to develop the world around Ariel and Prince Eric. And I like that. I like that the film did add a few more minutes onto it in order to try and build up the relationship and just build up the general environment. I thought some scenes could have been cut. It could have maybe been a few minutes shorter. It didn't have to be extended at all, but I like what they did with this. And like I said, I thought Halle Bailey did a great job with the role of Ariel. Melissa McCarthy as Ursula was great. I thought everyone did a great job, and I thought the visual effects were good. I mean, I haven't really noticed when they're really bad, but, I mean, for the visual effects that they were, I found them to be pleasing. I found the musical score to be enjoyable, maybe not as energetic as the original, but that's because it's live action. They're trying to bring this into reality. I thought things could have been more energetic, but then again, it wouldn't have felt like it was in live action. But my least favorite part of the film is the Scuttlebutt Psalm. I'm sorry, but that was one of the worst additions in the whole film for me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, there's some other issues with it. It's got some flaws. But I do think it is one of the better remakes compared to the other ones that released this year. Man, in the month of June, we were eating healthy when it came to films. There were so many films that came out this summer. And in the month of June, there were actually quite a few that I enjoyed. One of those being Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is probably the best animated film of the year. If I'm being honest, this film is way more insane than the first film. Into the Spider-Verse is great, but this film dialed it up to 11 and was still a great story. This doesn't feel like one of those sequels where they're dialing it up to 11 and it all backfires. this film feels like they dialed it up to 11 and it worked. And yeah, no, I really like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I even have a review video on the channel. It was amazing. Like, going to see it with one of my friends, we had the most fun time just watching this film and seeing the beautiful animation. I didn't see Into the Spider-Verse in theaters, but I wish I had, because my goodness, the visuals have no right to be this good. For a kids movie, the Spider-Verse films are marketed to be kids films. But they are so much more than that, and they are a complete example of why animation should be so much more than just raw, meaningless entertainment. They can be epic like this, and they can tell great stories and have beautiful visuals. I have some thoughts on modern animation and films and stuff like that, but Spider-Verse is definitely on the positive side of my thoughts. Like, these films are amazing, and honestly, they're great, and I can't wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I want them to take their time, but you know what? I'm all ready for it. I would happily rewatch this film over and over again. I already have seen it twice, and I bet I'll watch it more in the coming years. But that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What a stick of dynamite this film was. What a great beating heart this gave to the summer. It just ignited things, and it was great. Alright, so next to talk about is The Flash. And The Flash, for me, was, I think, my film of the summer. I think it's one of those superhero films that is now ingrained in my memory, and that I'm going to view over and over again. I've already seen it, like, 3 times. That's how good this movie is. The Flash is honestly a really exciting, fun superhero send-off for the DC Extended Universe. It really is. I really enjoyed myself. And it's only after multiple watchings that I've really thought there could be changes made. I find this film to be really fun. And I'm honestly sad that this film didn't make more at the box office, because it was a really fun time. There's all the arguments, oh, it didn't make sense in terms of time travel or whatever. Is a time travel movie meant to make sense? No, you're just meant to have fun with it. And this honestly feels like the film that the DCEU should have gone out with, because it's just so fun. All the trailers just got me even more hyped. I remember when the second trailer came out. I remember when the third trailer and the first trailer. Not exactly, but I remember being super excited. And I felt that when I went and saw the film. Now, all the actors do a great job. Sasha Calle is Supergirl. I really liked her performance. I hadn't really seen Supergirl before. I didn't watch a lot of the DC animated stuff, if any, and the 1984 film, I forget that that exists sometimes. But no, I thought she did a great job with the character, and I like that she wasn't just a female Superman. I like that she wasn't just a, basically, like, everything's perfect, no jadedness kind of character. I like that the whole film's theme is about learning from your past and trying not to correct it and trying to just live with what's happened and how that can build you. There are definitely issues with this film, but it's still an enjoyable ride. Honestly, it is really enjoyable. I really love this movie, and I just think it was a great time, despite all the negativity around it. I honestly cannot say it more enough that I love this movie. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It was really enjoyable. I didn't think it was awful. I didn't think it was great, but I definitely felt like they were really trying. Ah, yes. One of the 2 most anticipated films of the year. The film that also came out the same day, Oppenheimer. This film, to me, was not everything that the hype was making it be. It is a film about Robert J. Oppenheimer, about his life post and during the time of the nuclear bomb. It is that, but it just, like, I thought the cinematography was great, I thought the acting was great, it didn't hit me the way that it's hit a lot of people. It felt like another film. I'll put it that way. It just felt like another biopic film. It wasn't terrible. It just was a film. Like I'm trying to say, I don't think it's, terrible. It isn't a film that I'd always run away from if I had to watch it again. It isn't like that. I wouldn't walk out of it, but still, it's a rough one to watch. It's very long, and you feel the runtime. There are multiple points where they probably could have cut it shorter. I mean, it does feel like what Christopher Nolan would do. It is a big 3-hour epic like he enjoys doing, but still, it was rough. What did I think of Barbie? I'll just say that right off the bat. What did I think of it? I actually thought it was a really thought-provoking film. This is actually, I think, the hardest review out of all of these to record because I don't know how to word what I want to say. But on the surface, I think Barbie is a way more creative and thought-provoking film than it needed to be. I am sure this film would have still done huge numbers, even if it was just full-on comedy, no substance to it. I still think it would have been successful. But I like that the director actually took the premise that she had and tried to create a thought-provoking story. I don't think the story itself is really thought-provoking, but the themes that the film touches on. I really do. When you think about Barbie, it isn't really a good movie, storyline-wise. It's pretty basic. But what they try and teach you along the way, what they're trying to say in sort of a, like, this is, what we as a society should think, or this is how I think about things. Like, when you look at it that way, on a deeper level, on a more level than just, oh, it's a movie, this film does have quite a few interesting things to say. Barbie is quite an interesting film. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I could say a lot more about this film, but I don't think it's really my place to do that, though I will say I do appreciate that this film tried to be more than just a joke, and that the director actually tried and put in a lot of effort to make it something that wasn't just that. That, in fact, is a film that will be remembered. Maybe just because it's so crazy and ridiculous, but also because, well, it's so creative. But that's Barbie for me. That's Barbie.